The assignment.
It's assignment day. It must be Monday, where one of my most prolific assignment setters, aka Valerie Jardin, returns to set her fourth photography challenge, or a way to think about your picture making for the next week. And usually with Valerie, it has something to do with people being in a picture. Today is no different. It's a challenge for everyone. Whatever kind of photography interests you, whatever camera you hold, film or larger format or DSLR, mirrorless, compact, smartphone, it's all about the picture that you see. As always, there's a show page on the website, photowalk.show, and I'd love you to share the pictures you make for this challenge, which I can then upload to the show page for this edition. And you can check back, of course, to see pictures from previous shows. And before we meet Valerie, my thanks to our wonderful patrons, as we call them now, the Extra Milers, and mpb.com, who sponsor this show, the number one company in the UK and the US and Europe, with bases in Brighton and Brooklyn and Berlin when it comes to buying and selling and trading used camera kit online. A safe place to do business with guarantees upon what you buy. So, let's meet our guest for today. Setting you a challenge for the new week, it's Valerie Jardin.
The assignment.
Now, I wasn't sure, Valerie, whether this assignment would work, because I thought when you used the word iconic, and I was thinking, well, not everybody lives in places which necessarily present you with an iconic thing that you can use within your pictures. And then you very quickly wagged your finger at me and said, no. I have other ideas.
Well, first of all, if you want to practice your travel photography, you should practice at home. I mean, not in your house, but at home, in your hometown.
Yeah.
It can be a village. Every place, anywhere, has one iconic landmark. It may be the grain elevator in the village. Yeah. It could be the statue of, I don't know, anything. There's at least one thing where people sometimes gather, or that if there was one postcard made of that place, it would include that landmark, right?
Yeah.
So by using whatever you have on hand and pretending you're working for the tourist office or the tourism board or whatever you call it, and you're on assignment, you have to make compelling photographs of your town or your village. How would you incorporate that landmark, right? Well, everything has been done. If you pick the Eiffel Tower, everything has been done. But if you incorporate people in your travel photography, in your iconic landmark photography, you will have your own iconic photograph that's never been done and will never be done. That's the only time, I think, in photography that you can actually have that. They could be humor. They could be very romantic. Once I photographed a boy who was sketching Notre Dame in Paris. And so he's in focus, his sketch is in focus, and Notre Dame is out of focus in the background. But we all know what it is.
Yes.
We know it's Notre Dame. And it's been photographed a million times, although that was before it was burned. So it probably has more value today. So the iconic landmark does not have to be the subject. The subject can be the person, and the iconic landmark recognizable. The Eiffel Tower, it doesn't matter how out of focus it will be or far away it will be, it will immediately draw your eye because you know what it is. So in order to prepare yourself for that trip of a lifetime, well, practice at home, practice in your little town, and find what actually defines that town. Maybe, well, there is a little town near us. It's an old grain elevator that is now a cafe, but it is the iconic landmark of that little river town. So find it and then incorporate the human element so that you have a unique photograph of that landmark.
Yeah, and I'll give you an example, actually, of, well, I'll give you one of your own examples, which is... Which was a humorous picture, but it was a very simple, very simple idea. Just the very top of the Eiffel Tower, sticking out of. You know how we're always told, don't let things stick out the top of people's heads. Don't
unless you're doing it on purpose.
Don't let a lamppost stick out of somebody's head. But you did it on purpose. You stuck the Eiffel Tower out of somebody's head. Very simple silhouette. humorous picture, but perfectly demonstrating what you're talking about.
See, when you go to one place over and over and over again, you have to find creative ways to photograph it.
Yeah.
You know, after 10 years of bringing people to various cities, including Paris, so I go to the same places over and over again. So for me, the assignment is always shoot something you haven't seen before. So by doing that, you have fun, and then you really get the creative juices flowing as well.
So let's bolt it down then. You've got 7 days. The assignment this week is?
Find the iconic landmark in your town and then incorporate the human element. It can be very small. It can be very minimalist. It can be right there in front of you. Find a good subject that belongs there. I don't want to see a tourist, with a backpack and a New York Yankee cap if you're in London. Pick someone that really looks like they live there, because that's the point. If you travel, why would you want to photograph tourists, right? You want to photograph authenticity and authentic people, so people who belong there. And you usually are pretty good at recognizing them. You can pick the Parisian from the tourist when you're in Paris very easily, same in Rome and anywhere else. So if it's your hometown, then you figure it out. If it's very small, there probably won't be very many tourists. So pick a local and then incorporate the human element with the iconic and have fun with it.
And that's our challenge for this week. If you do the job well, maybe, perhaps, who knows, could be, there's always the chance that the local tourist bureau, large or small, will say, "Ooh, could we use that?" Be mindful, of course, of local laws of how you show people in photographs, though for most countries, in a non-commercial capacity at least, you're essentially doing street photography here. In some countries, and, Austria comes to mind, you may well be photographing the backs of people for the privacy laws you have specifically, but hey, this is where your creativity comes into play, and that is a most special word, play, because that's what these assignments request of you. I'll be delighted to see what you produce. I'm sure Valerie will as well. And I'd love to show them on today's corresponding show page on the website photowalk.show. Music on the show from artlist.io. Neil Ford, Emery Renier and Andrea Gilpin, thank you for your support work behind the scenes. And I look forward to photographing with you, hearing from you and talking with you on a very special photo walk this week. They're all special, but this week we find ourselves in Inverness together, you and I, for the second photo walk retreat, a special edition.
The assignment is a Loading Zone production.